Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to do an old-fashioned what's going to happen in the future of this game type video, because I think it's been a long time. It's been over 4 years, and I've mentioned this in a bunch of videos since the first Tier 3. That's right, Captain America, the very first Tier 3, followed up shortly by Iron Man and Spider-Man, all the way back in April of 2018. Iron Man and Spider-Man were a little bit after that, like May or something like that. But it's been over 4 years, basically, for these characters, and that's a really long time for their last upgrade. Think about it. 4 years ago, I collected, and a lot of other players collected, 10 combat books, and they tier 3'd Captain America. Now, I know that this topic and the subsequent things that I'm going to say, or I'm going to assume, or I'm going to speculate on, always cause some people to panic or get upset or whatever, because inevitably when you talk about a new upgrade, you are also talking about the very real possibility of new materials. So 4 years ago they introduced these 3 materials, and these 3 materials you had to farm in addition to this material and this material. Now again, it's very difficult to take that future perspective, but nowadays, although you're still scrambling to farm all of these things, it's way easier than it was 4 years ago. Way easier, especially now recently with story mode fragment farming. And I've always said that I think the way that Marvel Future Fight works, and by extension a lot of mobile games work, is that when they release a new way of farming, or when they release sort of a new item that you need to farm, not a new way of farming, apologies, when they release a new item because they release a new tier or a new upgrade for characters, they start off really slow, and they sort of, the faucet is barely open, so it's just dripping out, right? And that's how it was 4 years ago. The only place, literally the only place that you could get tier 3 materials, CCF, and the other ones, was from World Boss Ultimate. There was no World Boss Legend, there was no Challenger mode voting, there was no story mode fragment farming, none of that stuff, nothing. It was only here, and of course, it's always in the shops, okay. But then as time goes on, they sort of open the faucet a little bit more and a little bit more to let a little bit more of the resources flow out, right? Like now we have the event tokens that you can exchange for tier 3 materials. We have cosmic core events. We have login events, check-in events, so many things, right? Tickets, tier 3 tickets, tier 3 selectors. All that stuff is basically just resources in a different form. Now, what I think, the other thing that I think when you combine with that idea is that when you notice from a new update, you know, as time has passed, when you notice the devs have intentionally opened the faucet a lot, that to me is an indication that something new is coming, because they're making the old thing that you needed to farm, the old resource, a lot easier to get. And that is what I think, that that faucet turning moment, that faucet opening moment, I think, my speculation is that it's the story mode fragment farming. Now, again, I know not everyone can farm tons of tier 3 materials from this game mode, but we can't deny the fact that it's possible if you can get enough of these fragments. Now, yeah, some people are not going to get a fragment every single day. They're not going to get a full set of fragments every single day that they open these. So I fully understand that not everyone is having the experience I'm having. Honestly, lately with my RNG, I hope you're not having the experience I'm having. Okay, there we go. Because I'm just pulling a bunch of tickets and not any tier 3 materials. But yeah, when you do pull tier 3 materials here, you're pulling more than a day's worth, right? In some cases, you're pulling 2 days worth of world boss materials. So that's crazy if you consider it. 4 years ago, you could only get them from World Boss Ultimate. Now you can still get them from World Boss Ultimate, plus a bunch of different things. Plus, if you crack open one of these, you have a chance to just triple the amount that you got in a day, and that's just getting 1, not 2 or 3 or more than that. So I do think that the story mode automation has been, or to me, it's a clue, or it's sort of like a green flag, or I don't know if you'd call it a red flag, but it has been a sign that there's something new coming. And for a long time, I've said, and I still believe that it's going to be level 80, because I think level 70 is just a weird number. It's dumb. I honestly think by now they should have gone past 80. A lot of games at this point in time, characters can go up to level 100. And again, it's not that like there's something special happening at level 100. Characters could be level 100 now. It's just a number. Like, you can always just rebalance the game for that number. You know, they could honestly release a patch. They could. I'm not saying they would, but they could release a patch saying, hey guys, we're going to let you take all characters to level 100. You don't have to use anything new. You just have to use your level 5 XP chips. and your characters are going to get a stat boost from this, but we're going to just adjust all of the content so that it's just as difficult as it was, or just as easy as it was at level 70 for level 100. It's just a number, right? You can always just play with the number, whatever. But I do think that level 70 is not the end, because it also ties into the shield level. You notice here my agent level is 250, my shield level is 70. Your shield level caps where your characters can go. It doesn't really make sense for a 7-year game to have level 70 shield level. It just sounds weird, no? Especially since it hasn't been going up by 10 every year. It started off at like 50, and then they bumped it up to 60, and then they bumped it up to 70. But that was like, again, 4 years ago, I think they bumped it up from 60 to 70, and that was when you could take characters to tier 3. So all of this is to say, I think that something's coming. Whether you want to call it tier 4, whether you want to call it something else, I have no idea. But I do think something else is coming, whether it's in the next update or it's down the road. But I think by the end of the year, I think that is 100% the cutoff for something new to happen. I would be very shocked if we didn't get some sort of new farming material and some sort of new upgrade for characters by then. So whether it's going to be like a new material that you have to farm, whether it's going to require you to use existing materials and sort of like combine them, smash them together, that's sort of what the last upgrade, the last big upgrade was. Because the last big upgrade actually wasn't artifacts. Maybe the devs were hoping that it was artifacts, but no, artifacts just haven't really moved the needle of the game that much. It's just a bit more that you have to spend to fully build out your character, and it just extracts a bit more money out of spenders and whales. So artifacts really weren't it. I'm actually talking about reforged CTPs and premium like card crafting, right? That's taking a premium material and smashing it together with another premium material to make something even better. That was the last big upgrade, closest, in my opinion, closest in cost to something like the tier 2 to tier 3 grind. Because if you think about it, 4 years ago, it took you at least a month. Now it's way faster, but it took you at least a month to get the materials to tier 3 one character. I remember because I did it. It literally, I was like, the day that update dropped, I was streaming. It was only Proxima Midnight World Boss Legend. There were no other World Boss Legends. And you just farmed her 5 times a day for a whole month. 150 fights versus Proxima. And then you get the materials and you roughly, right? Maybe you have to spend a little bit of money. And you can tier 3 Captain America. 1 whole month. That's crazy, right? It's not that slow anymore. It's a lot faster now. But if you consider that, nowadays you get about 1 CTP and 1 premium card per month with the check-in rewards and the token event exchanges and things like that. So you can sort of see how these items sort of begin as very scarce resources, very hard to find, very rare, very precious. And then as time goes on, that rarity and that preciousness sort of dips down. And then it sort of stabilizes again at a lower level where they're much more common. And then that's sort of the signal that there's going to be some new item that comes out that is sort of, much more difficult to farm. In this case, I think the devs kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I think if they had introduced story mode fragment farming first, like the auto one, the auto version of this, if they had done that first and then gone with the premium cards and CTP reforging, maybe the reaction would have been different from the community, but we'll never know because that's sort of like, gone and past in time. But I do think that something new is on the horizon, just on the horizon. So as far as what you can do, if you believe or if you sort of have the same train of thought as I do, is just hoard your materials. That's basically it, especially gold. I would say gold is really the most valuable material at this point because even though I save up so much of it, I can spend it just as quickly, more quickly than I can farm it. And there's like almost no chance that this new system won't involve gold in some way, right? Gold is used in almost every single system in Marvel Future Fight, so I would be very surprised if it's not used. Like, I mean, artifacts, is it even used? Yeah, see, it's even used for enhancing artifacts. It's also used for dismantling artifacts, but like, even if you didn't dismantle artifacts, even if you didn't engage with the artifact system in the sense of like using Celestial Essence to gamble for artifacts, even if you were just getting the artifacts from different events, let's say you got the Spider-Man one for free and you're just upgrading them, see, it still costs you gold, right? And it actually costs you a lot of gold later on. Almost 300,000 for a 12% chance to upgrade this, right? Forget the Celestial Essence that I have to use, but just the gold, right? So yeah, my advice to you would maybe just be play a little bit more carefully and a little bit more, another 300k, a little bit more tactfully with your gold for the time being. Yeah, just casually wasting 600,000 gold, no biggie, just a couple clicks away. So yeah, I would say you know, be a little bit more saver conscious. I'm not really coming up with a good word for it. Save your gold, damn it. And let's see what happens, because artifacts weren't it. Artifacts were not it, and I think we really need, I think really need a new upgrade. I've talked about this in a couple of different videos, but I think Marvel Future Fight is very much a solved game where we can figure out very quickly when a new update comes out if the characters are good or bad. That's also a testament to how committed this community is, which is awesome, but I think the devs need to respond in kind by upping the complexity. I know it's already a really complicated game. I know there's already a lot of systems and mechanics to learn, so I apologize to any of you watching, slamming your hands down the table. Like, what do you mean, Alex? I'm still trying to catch up here. This is like a university level. Yeah, I get it. Believe me, I do. But on the other hand, I have to acknowledge that a lot of players are kind of just like this at this point, right? We've kind of figured out the game, and we're just like, when's the next? We're sort of like all mice or hamsters in a big giant maze, and we've sort of figured out how to get from one end of the maze, one end of the maze to the other without slamming our heads into the walls. They need to switch up the walls and switch up the traps and shit so that we start slamming our heads into the wall again, because you know what? It's kind of fun. It's a weird analogy, but I think it works if you if you maybe have less IQ like me. So anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we get a sneak peek tonight, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.